Welcome to the second part. I realized that I'm not happy with the difference of shades between green on the background on the area of the hills which are far from us and greens which we have on the grass closer to us. I think that the difference in color values have to be much bigger. According to the laws of perspective, everything which is far from us have to be darker, less bright, more dull, and that's why I decided to add some dark colors to the hills which are far from us. First, I shade green areas where I already did watercolor underpaint in the first part using polychromos dark indigo, and then on top of it I use one of the olive green colors which I found in my Kohinoor polycolor set landscape set. I simply selected color which is couple of shades darker comparing to the green which I already have on the background. I hope that it will help me to create better perspective, that it will be bigger difference in values between background and foreground, and also that leaves of the lemon tree will look better if background behind it will be darker. I also thought that leaves of the lemon tree look a little bit flat and not very realistic, mostly because I need to add some additional color accents. Usually when you look at real tree, you can find some brown colors, yellow colors apart from greens on it. So at least I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of brown. Again, I used Kohinoor polycolor color, but it was quite close to light amber from Prismacolor set. And in couple of areas on the leaves, I added this pale brown color. Next area which require my attention is area of the grass. Now grass has only watercolor paint on it, and of course it doesn't look very realistic. We definitely need to add various green colors to it to show that some areas are more highlighted, there are some um, light reflections from the sunlight, there are several shadow areas which are close to the flowers or various objects which are standing on the grass. And also we need to indicate that fence which is or low wall which is far from us, it will be casting a light shadow on the area of the grass near its base. So it will be area where I started to do my uh, work on the grass. I added a little bit of polychromos dark sepia to show shade. Then I selected various warm green pencils from my sets. I took a couple of bright green and olive green pencils from Kohinoor Polycolor landscape set. I took lime peel and chartreuse from Prismacolor set, and these two pencils are very helpful when you need to indicate a very highlighted patches of the grass, where grass is highlighted by very bright sunshine. And as you remember that my sun is coming from the left, on the left side of the picture I apply this chartreuse color. Of course, my color choice pencils which I selected for this area, it highly depends from the initial color of the grass which I got when I colored this area with watercolors. So I simply need couple of green colors which will be lighter comparing to this basic watercolor green, and several darker greens which will be indicated mid-tones, mid-shadows and deep shadows on the grass. That's why I use here such a mix of brands of pencils. I already mentioned that on top of a watercolor underpaint, usually I prefer to use harder pencils like polychromoses and polycolors and even color softs. I think that Prismacolors usually are too soft, and when I apply them on top of the watercolor, they can look a little bit grainy. So sometimes I even spread pigment with my fingertips or with blender in order to get more smooth coverage. But here I really love chartreuse and lime peels, they are quite unique colors, so I used them together with various polychromos and uh, Kohinoor polycolor pencils. Sometimes it's difficult to remember all brands' names, especially if they are so close like polycolor and polychromos. And it's good that I don't have Lyra, or I would definitely will be completely lost in all those names. You remember that in the first part I already indicated light shadows from various objects using polychromos dark sepia, but they don't look very realistic, and I definitely need to add some dark green colors to the shadow areas. When I thought about which colors to use for the garden path, I realized that on the page there are already a lot of green and yellow, and I definitely need to start adding bright colors. It's There are not so many possibilities to add bright colors on this page, only for the remaining flowers, maybe watering can and boots, but I also decided that I want to color this path using bright colors. So I decided against pale beige colors which can represent sand on this path, or some pale gray colors which can represent small stones. I don't know actually what represent my chestnut, but I was really happy that on this right side and on this considerably big area of the picture I started to add brighter colors. It was difficult for me to decide where this path is finished, somewhere behind the watering can. It's not very clearly on the picture, so I draw some part of the grass by myself, and now at least it's more visible. Central part uh, of this path will be lighter, and there I will be using pale yellow colors again to indicate that it's lit by the sunshine, and both sides are slightly darker, especially where flowers will be casting shadow on the path. Apart from the chestnut I will be using beige, I will be using 70% French grey for shading on the side, and I will be using also polychromos cream, one of my favorite colors to show sunlight on various objects. Area behind watering can and area close to the right side of the picture, it will be considerably darker, and area in the central part of this working path, it will be lighter. Well, I would say that at this stage picture looks quite spring and fresh, but it definitely lacks some bright colors. And what I will be doing in the final part, adding bright colors, coloring remaining objects and flowers. So I hope to see you in the third part.